Hey everyone, Pupsker here. Today in Genshin Impact, we're going over the newest Dendro Archon, Nahida. Why you should probably get her, why she is actually amazing right now, and just top tier, and we'll go over her abilities, reactions, etc, etc. As of right now, Nahida being the newest Archon, she's just really good. She has a couple unique things about her. Her E ability kind of links enemies together and applies Dendro from, a far range, but you have to scroll over everyone, so it's a very interesting and cool mechanic, or you can just tap it to do a little Dendro slash in front of you. So her E is a cool mechanic, links damages and Dendro's enemies together, so it's pretty hype. But her ultimate ability is actually so much cooler. It's a straight up domain expansion. The entire area around her essentially becomes a Dendro death trap, right? It like buffs other elements like pyro, electro, and hydro. More damage is output by your teammates, and just Dendro flies everywhere. You have hyper blooms going off left and right. It's kind of amazing, right? So I'll go over first her full description of her all schemes to know, her E ability, talent, what have you. Let's see. Sends forth karmic bonds of wood and tree from her side, dealing AoE Dendro damage and marking up to 8 opponents hit with her Seed of Skada. When held, skill will trigger differently. So when you hold it, you enter aiming mode, which you'll see a lot of, which will allow you to select number limited of opponents within a limited area. During this time, Nahida's resistance to interruptions will be increased, so you don't get slapped out of your E. When released, this skill deals Dendro damage to these opponents and marks them with Seed of Skada. Aiming mode will last up to 5 seconds, and you can select 8 opponents, right? That's pretty good overall. And then Seed of Skada. Those are like the little seeds that jump around and drop out. Those, whoever are hit with her E, hit with the Dendro, will start dropping those and deal a lot of damage. Opponents who have been marked by the Seed of Skada will be linked to one another up till a certain distance. After you trigger elemental reactions on opponents who are affected by the Seed of Skada, or when they take damage from Dendro cores, including Bursion and Hyper Bloom damage, Nahida will unleash Tri-Karma Purification on the enemies and all connected opponents, dealing Dendro damage based on her attack and elemental mastery. You can trigger at most 1 Tri-Karma Purification within a short period of time, and that short period of time I think is it's about 2.5 seconds, so you can essentially just pop off, do a ton of damage and more damage every 2.5 seconds. She just overall has a great setup, and I love it. So now let's talk about her ultimate talent, combat talent, ultimate ability, whatever you want to call it, Illusionary Hearts, her straight up domain expansion area of Dendro. It manifests the Court of Dreams and expands the Shrine of Maya. When the Shrine of Maya field is unleashed, the following effects will be separately unleashed based on the elemental types present within the party. Pyro, while Nahida remains within the Shrine of Maya, the damage dealt by Tri-Karma Purification from all schemes to know is increased. Electro, while Nahida remains within the Shrine of Maya, the interval between each Tri-Karma Purification from all schemes to know is decreased. And Hydro, the Shrine of Maya's duration is increased. Noise. If there are at least 2 party members of the aforementioned elemental types present when the field is deployed, the aforementioned effects will be increased further. Even if Nahida is not on the field, these bonuses will still take effect so as long as party members are within the Shrine of Maya. So essentially, use her ability and then always be under it. And she has some other sweet abilities in general, like her Compassion Illuminated. When unleashing Illusionary Heart, the Shrine of Maya will gain the following effects. The elemental mastery of the active character within the field will be increased by 25% of the elemental mastery of the party member within the highest elemental mastery. So that's generally going to be Nahida, because you're going to build up a ton of elemental mastery. You can gain a maximum of 250 elemental mastery in this manner. So that only means you need like 1,000, so it's really not that bad. And then her 4th Ascension Phase talent, each point of Nahida's elemental mastery beyond 200 will grant 0.1% bonus damage and 0.03% crit rate to Tri-Karma Purification from all schemes to know. A maximum of 80% bonus damage and 24% crit rate can be granted to Tri-Karma Purification in this manner. So she is just meant to do a ton of damage and go well with the team. Right now, I'm running her pretty much with a old Raiden national team, swapped out Zhonglang with Nahida, and by God, is it destroying everything. And it works perfectly too, right? So I have Raiden for electro, I have Jingxi for water, and I have Bennett for pyro. So I slap on all 3 of those effects, right? And then with Nahida, I hit her ultimate, I chain all the enemies together. Raiden, with being electrical, she just hyper blooms and gets out a lot of damage. Sometimes with pyro, I light them on fire and they blow up. And then with Jingxi, I just kind of hit them with water and they go boom. So it ends up going really well. No shock here, her constellations are insane. Constellation 1, when the Shrine of Maya is unleashed and the elemental types of the party members are being tabulated, the count will add 1 to the number of Pyro, Electro, and Hydro characters respectively. So with C1, it essentially doubles the characters you have on field for uses of this ability. And it just makes your Shrine of Maya better, right? It's just a straight buff essentially, more damage, lasts longer, etc., bigger bloom. But then, naturally, her second constellation is where her true damage is at. Sadly, I only have 1 constellation, not 2 myself, so RIP. And as always, if you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, and check out any of my other Genshin Impact videos. Hopefully I can get C2 Nahida, but we'll see. So, for her C2, opponents that are marked by Seed of Skara will applied by Nahida herself will be affected the following effects. Sorry, words are hard. Burning, Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and Burgeon reaction damage they receive can score crit hits. Crit rate and crit damage are fixed at 20% crit rate and 100% crit damage, respectively. Within 8 seconds of being affected by Quicken, Aggravate Spread, defense is decreased by 30%. So adds a ton of damage with crit and decreases even more defensive. And then the C3, 4, 5 are good, but less worth talking about, but still good. And then her C4 is insane. Sorry, her C6 is insane. When Nahida hits an opponent affected by all schemes to know Seed of Skara with normal or charged attacks after unleashing Illusionary Heart, she will use Trikarma Purification. Karmic Oblivion on this opponent and all connected opponents, dealing Dendro damage based on 200% of Nahida's attack and 400% of her Elemental Mastery, which you can get up to like 2,000 somewhat easily, so that's pretty insane. Damage dealt by Trikarma Purification, Karmic Oblivion is considered elemental skill damage and can be triggered once every 0.2 seconds. The effect lasts up to 10 seconds, can be removed after you unleashed 6 instances of Trikarma Purification. So as of right now, Nahida is just a beast with all things damage, elemental mastery, and elemental reactions, right? That's her bread and butter. It's not like she's going to be main DPS auto-attacking or anything. No, no, no. You swap to her, hit your E, hit your Q, you know, both your talent abilities, slap the enemies around if you need to, and then swap over to get some more reactions and have like Hyper Bloom, or the explosions go off when you're using Pyro, right? You swap to all of your others and deal damage. That works well with Dendro. So right now, she is just insane and works well with a lot of teams. I like it because she just Hyper Blooms hard with Raiden, but I mean, she works really well with Fire and Pyro as well. So that's the general team comp you're going to want to build for Nahida. As of right now, she's insane even if you have Constellation 0, right? Just a straight up Nahida. If you're free to play, you don't need any constellations. You never really need any constellations. It's just people want constellations to deal so much more damage. So that is the current state of Nahida. She's amazing and god dang top tier. Because you can splash her in with such a high amount of teams anyways, right? Because most teams will have a good chunk of Pyro, Water, or Electro. Might just be more dependent on what other characters are in there. Like, you might not want to throw her on a huge Anemo team, right? Maybe not want to throw her on a huge Hydro team. That being said, a lot of the Hydro, Nilo, explosive strats are pretty good. So yeah, maybe you would want to throw her on a full Hydro, but probably just want to stick away from like Geo or Anemo, right? Things that she doesn't clash well with. She'll go with Pyro, Water, and Electro very well, but that's about it. So it gives you a lot of wiggle room at least, and you can mess around with a lot of team comps. You can chuck her into Raiden National like I'm doing and just mess around and then swap the team there. Because let's be real here, as long as you have Bennett to heal, that's all you really need, right? So, that's my Nahida video for now. Let me know what you think. She's pretty great, so would recommend pulling for her. And as always, like, sub, check out any of my other Genshin Impact videos out. And if you want, subscribe, or if you buy anything on the Epic Games Store, use Epic Games creator code Pupsker, especially if you buy random Genshin stuff, Warframe stuff, etc. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.